is doing fine. I am Trishti, a relationship manager at GetGIS, and we here at GetGIS nurtures our candidate dream of migrating to abroad. Today, we all have gathered here for a webinar session on Express Entry and PNP program for Canada Permanent Residency. And our host for tonight is Afreen Abbasi, who has spent almost 5 years in the immigration segment, and she'll be sharing her knowledge about the immigration related to Canada permanent residency. The key takeaway from this webinar will be what will be the eligibility factor, the point system for express entry and provincial nomination program, and the occupation demand there in Canada. And our panelist for today is Soumya, Rinki, and Alok, who will be helping you with your questions. So let's start with the webinar. And for any concerns or query, you all can post your questions in Q&A section, and question and answer session will resume after 20 minutes of the session. So kindly stay tuned to get all the immigration related doubts resolved in this webinar session with GetGIS. Thank you. Handing it over to you, Afreen.
Yeah, I welcome to immigration related to the Canadian pathways, which is express entry and PNP, basically provincial nomination programs. So today in the webinar, we're going to discuss that how the express entry program works and how the provincial nomination program works, what are the eligibility criteria, what is the documentation required, what is the timeline, and what are the different factors which are acting on the process, so that you will be able to understand about the process in a very deep manner, and you will be able to differentiate your profile, that whether you are eligible for the express entry or whether you are eligible for the provincial nomination program. So before we just start the webinar, let me introduce myself and my company. So basically we are GetGIS Global Immigration Services, and we are helping the people who want to start a new career and new life into the boundaries apart from the India. And we are not only limited to Canada, but we are giving our services for Germany, Sweden, Australia, Canada. And there are many more countries. And it's not only about the permanent residency. We are dealing with some other kind of visas as well. So that is another part of the company, that what we are doing and what are our services. But as you all are gathered here today for the topic, which is the Canada, the country which we will be focusing on, and other programs, the express entry and the PNP. Okay, so I'll be just moving ahead. So basically, before understanding this thing, that what is express entry and what is PNP, we need to understand that why immigration matters to Canada and why the Canadian immigration has introduced the pathways through which the immigrants can migrate to Canada using those pathways. So the basic reason that why immigration matters to Canada is that using the immigrants and using the immigration data that Canadian government got through the immigrants, they meet the basic labor market needs. Basically, the labor market needs have a different requirements. They have different kind of the specification regarding to the labor market needs, which means that if there is a shortage in the occupation of IT, healthcare, or the sales profession, or we can say the medical professions as well, then basically using the immigrants who are migrating to Canada, whether they are students, whether they are workers, whether they are permanent residents, they basically fulfill their labor needs. Then the second option is create jobs and attracts investment through the entrepreneurship or through the investors. So when a person who is having a investment with themselves, they basically invest in Canada, then their investment not only boosts the Canadian economy, but their investment creates a job, because definitely they will be starting up a new venture. They will be starting a new startup as well over there in Canada. So they need a team for which they hire the persons, and they hire the persons which are also the immigrants, because major the population in Canada is contributed by them. It drives the innovation as well. And of course, every one of us wants to work in a diverse culture, so that our productivity will be increased. We will be able to have an interaction with the different biodiversities. We will be able to work with the people who are coming from the different boundaries, different backgrounds, and different cultures. Okay. So initially, we will be discussing on the eligibility criteria in the first half of the webinar. Then in the second half of the webinar, we will be discussing about the occupational demand and the of your professions in the different provinces, that how you will be able to know about the demand of your particular job designation or your particular job field in a particular province, so that you will be able to know whether this province will be a good destination for you or not, whether this will be a good state to live in or not. Okay, and at the end we will be giving you a chance to interact with me for sorting out the queries, which will be having 2 to 3 minutes, because definitely, for a brief counseling session regarding to your immigration queries, we need at least 15 to 20 minutes, but I'll try my best that through this webinar, you all will be able to get your answers. Okay. So Express Entry is a system which was started by the Canadian government in the 2015 onwards. Okay. So in the 2015 January, this program was introduced, and this program is basically a program which is an online program, because before 2015 onwards, there was a pen and paper system which was used by the Canadian government. And using that system, the Canadian government was running the different PR procedures. Okay, and that was the basic piece. So I'll jump to this. Just allow me 1 second. I'll share my screen with you. So basically, here we are working on the Canadian government. This is the Canadian website. Here it is written as well, Government of Canada. So it is written here that how Express Entry works. But before that, we need to understand that what is basically Express Entry. So the application process for skilled immigrants who want to settle in Canada permanently and take part in our economy. So the Canadian government is saying they have an application process through which skilled immigrants. Now, when the Canadian government is using the word skilled immigrants, then we should better understand this, that this is a process where the people needs to have a good education background, where the people needs to have a good language proficiency, and the person also needs to have a work experience background. We need to be a working professional. Okay, so and now there a question arises that when the program was offline, then why there is a need that Canadian government introduced the online program? So the biggest reason was the forging in the documents and the fake documents produced by the persons who were intent to migrate to Canada. Because in the offline process, it becomes difficult for the embassy to verify all of the documents which are supported and which are given by the candidate for getting a permanent residency into the Canadian government. And because when we are having a paper and pen process, then we are not able to verify the things on a very accurate manner. And that was the biggest reason when Canadian government verify the things, when Canadian government just evaluate the data, and when they get to know that a lot of immigrants are coming every year, but the economy is not able to boost. There is no boost in the economy. The Canadian economic benefits are not increasing year by year. Then finally they take the initiative, and then Canadian government become the first country who launch a point system program, which is known as the Express Entry program. Okay, so let's consider how this Express Entry system works and how we will be able to initiate further. So as I told you, that Express Entry is an online system that we use to manage the immigration applications from the skilled workers. So basically there are three kind of categories in the immigration programs which are managed through the Express Entry, through which you will be able to migrate to Canada. So the first is the Canadian experience class. It is for the skilled workers who have a Canadian work experience. Okay. So basically, if you are working since last 1 year into the Canada, into the recent 3 years, then you will be coming under the Canadian experience class. Then second one is the federal skill work. So for federal skill workers with foreign work experience must meet criteria for education and other factors, which means that the majority of the category will be coming into this category, federal skill worker, because this federal skill worker will be the workers who will be having a point criteria, who will be having eligibility criteria, who will be able to meet. Now, federal skill trades program. So basically for federal skill workers who are qualified in a skilled trade. Now trade professions are basically belong to a profession where we can take the example of a chef, of an electrician, of a plumber, of a technician as well, the persons who need a technical qualification in their industry or in their field of domain. Okay. So now moving further, we will be discussing about the points criteria as well. That yes, what is the basic criteria, whether you are eligible or not. Okay. And if you are eligible for any of the above programs, you can apply to Express Entry, or you can apply for the provincial nomination programs as well. And if you are nominated, you will get extra points so that you will be able to invite it to apply quickly. Okay. Now you need to find out whether if you are eligible or not. Okay. So there are two ways to find out whether you are eligible, and if you are not eligible, whether you can be a part of the express entry or not. So let's see. We will see. We need to answer a few questions to see that whether we are meeting the minimum requirement or not. Okay. Will give you the eligibility criteria clearance. So they will be asking you the questions regarding your nationality, regarding your age, your language ability, your family members, your education, your work experience, your details on job. Okay. And then you can check your eligibility regarding the eligibility tool. But before checking your eligibility, there is another thing which is known as the point system. So if you are having the point system, so see, this is the selection filter. Federal Skilled Worker Program. Today we will be discussing only about the Federal Skilled Worker Program because majority of us will be a part of this program. Okay. So you selecting certain points to help to assess your eligibility criteria. We will assess your overall score out of 100. And the cutoff is if you score 67 points or higher than that you will qualify for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. If you meet the other requirements too, you can submit a profile to the express entry pool, which means that if you are meeting the skilled trade criteria or if you are meeting the Canadian experience class criteria, then you can use a different system. But if we are submitting your profile into the Federal Skilled Worker Program, definitely we need to meet the 67 points or we need to achieve more than that. So if you score lower than 67 points, then we need to just improve the language skills. We need to complete one more diploma, degree, or any kind of certification course, or we need to arrange any kind of employment in Canada. So we will be able to get a higher score. But the minimum criteria is 67 points. Okay. And what are the factors primarily on which we will be calculating the 67 points? So the first one is language skills. In Canada, there are two basic languages, which are English and French. And for considering your language skills, the Canadian government has set some examinations which are called as the language examinations. So for English, there is the IELTS, CELPIP, and right nowadays, PT is also become a part of the program. But the scores are not defined till the date through the Canadian government that what the scores we will be requiring for the Pearson test of English. But yes, for the IELTS and CELPIP, the scores are defined. Then for the French, the TEF and the TCF examinations are also there that one can go with the TEF and the TCF examination. And once these examinations are done, as based on your scores, you will be able to know about your eligibility. Second one is the education points. What is your education? Whether you have done a diploma, whether you have done a degree, whether you have a master's degree, whether you have a doctorate degree, you will be able to evaluate your profile. Then your work experience points, how many work experience you are having, your age points, your arranged employment in Canada points, your adaptability points. So this arranged employment in Canada points and adaptability points are something which are not a major requirement. If you have these, it will be supporting your point system. If you don't have these both, then it will be not affecting your process anyhow if you are getting the 67 points on the basis of 4 major sectors. Let's understand the bifurcation. So basically for the language skills, the maximum points are 24. And if you are scoring CLB 9, you will be able to get the 24. If you are scoring CLB 8, you will be able to get 22. If you are scoring CLB 7, you will be able to get 20 points. If you are scoring CLB 6, you will be able to get the 18. Okay. Then for education, maximum is 25. For PhD holder, it's a 25. For master's degree, it's 23. For bachelor's, it's 21. If a person is having 12 more degrees, it's 22 points. For a diploma, for the 2 years, it's 19 points. Okay. Then for work experience, the work experience needs to be a full-time work experience. It needs to be paid. Okay. And for 1 year, 19.9 points. For 2 to 3 years, 11. For 4 to 5, it's 15. For 6 or more years, it's 15. Okay. So now here we come to the most important factor through which the Canadian PR process gets impacted is your age. Under 18, there are 0 points, 18 to 35, 12, 36, 11, 37, 10, 38, 9. But see, you will be able to know that as age is increasing day by day, your points are decreasing, which means that if you are starting the PR process on a very late basis, then you will not be able to get the exit points which you will be able to get if you start the process on an earlier basis. Okay. Arranged employment in Canada, which means maximum 10 points. You can get 10 points if you have at least 1 year offer letter of having like 1 year of duration. Okay. And they have given the terms as well. It should be continuous. It should be paid minimum of 30 hours per week. It should be listed in the tier 0, 1, 2, 3. You will understand what is the tier category moving forward. Okay. Then we have the adaptability point. If you are married and you want to take your spouse along with you or your common law partner, then you can have the 5 points using their language skills as well. So their language skills means that they also need to attain CLB5 or CLB4 or more than that. If you have past studies in Canada, your spouse or partner is having past studies in Canada. If you have past work in Canada, your spouse or common law partner having past experiences in Canada, or if you have a blood relative in Canada, you will be able to get the 5. Now the conclusion is, if using all these points, if you are getting 6 points or more than that, then it means you're good to initiate your PR process using express entry program. Okay. Now, this is the eligibility criteria. What is the ranking criteria? I hope some of you have heard that there is a ranking system on which the Canadian government works. Okay. And what is this ranking system? The ranking system is known as the CRS ranking score. So the comprehensive ranking system is the ranking system which is used by the Canadian government. And using that ranking system, the Canadian government calculates your point that how much good a profile is, what will be your CRS score, how good your profile will be, and how soon you will be able to get an invitation letter to apply, and from where you will be able to get an invitation letter to apply. Okay. So this is the comprehensive ranking system tool. Using this tool, one can calculate the eligibility. Okay. But before that, we need to understand that what is basically the CRS score. So this ranking system is consists of 1200 points, in which there is a demarcation of 600 and 600. If you are getting 600 points through the provincial nomination program, means when you submit a profile to the PNP program as well, if they get invitation to you or if they get the nomination to you, you will automatically get 600 points in your bucket. Now from where you will get the rest of the 600 points? So again, it is used to assess your skills, education, language ability, work experience, other factors. So basically, again, on the basis of these factors, you will be able to get 600 points. And this is very easy tool. It's very easy to use. Okay, it will be asking us a few questions and then it will be giving us our ranking score. Let's take an example of mine. First, it will be asking me about my marital status, which is never married. How old are you? 25 years of age. What's your highest level of education? Check is a master's degree. Have I got any kind of Canadian degree? No. Now it's asking me, have you ever done official language test? Yes. And what was the score I got? It was 7 in speaking, 8 in listening, 7 in reading, and then again 7 in writing. Because as per the data given by the Canadian government, the standard score, which is very good to get an invitation letter to apply, is 80%. Other language tests not applicable, but anyone of you is efficient in French, can give the preferences. No Canadian work experience. Foreign work experience that has been gained outside of Canada, whether in India, Malaysia, Bangladesh, anywhere in the world, just not in Canada, it will be counted as a foreign skilled worker experience. Do you have a certificate of qualification from a Canadian province? No. Do you have a job offer letter? No. Do you have a nomination certificate? No. Do you have your spouse, anyone of any blood relative? No. Okay. Calculate your score. So we will see that we got a ranking. Okay. And my ranking is coming out to be 469. This ranking can be increased and this can be decreased based on these factors. If any one of the above factors on which we have calculated the score, if it's decreasing or increasing, it will affect the process and the ranking score will get affected. Okay. So this is about the express entry eligibility criteria, ranking criteria. Now let's talk about the provincial nomination program. So basically for the provincial nomination program, first we need to understand about the province, that how many provinces are there. So there are 10 provinces in Canada, and if the 10 provinces are there, it means that there are 10 different provincial nomination programs in Canada. Okay. And all of the provinces have the different requirements. But the good thing is all of the provinces are connected to the express entry program. If you have a valid active express entry profile, it means your data can be fetched through your express entry profile and all of the PNPs can get your data. And when we will talk about the different provinces, then yes, all provinces have their own criteria as well. For suppose, let's take the Saskatchewan. So Saskatchewan is the province which have their own calculator, and that is the 60 points calculator. So for a person who is not having a good age, means the age is higher and the work experience is also higher, then you will be able to assess your eligibility into the international skilled worker criteria using this as H1 PNP. It is the very best option for the persons who are on a higher age. Here you need only 60 points to apply. For masters, you will get 23, for bachelor's 20. Then work experience. If you have the work experience of whole 5 years in the last 5 years, which means we have a work experience of 5 years continuously from 2017 till the date, we'll get 10 points. And then previous to that, we will also get maximum 5 points if we have 5 years. Language ability, you will see even for CLB 4, a person is getting 12 points, for CLB 6, 18, 16, and for CLB 18 had 20. Okay. Age, working on a slab. Here, 18 to 21, you get 8 points. 22 to 34, you will get 12 points. But from 35 to 45, you the express entry. Once you cross the 35, the points are decreasing year by year. Okay. And then if you have the arranged offer letter, if you have any related, then you will get these extra points as well. But minimum requirement is 60. Okay. So, like Saskatchewan has been different on points calculator. Some of the provinces are also having, but we can't discuss about all of the provinces criteria in only one webinar because it's a very brief topic. Okay. Now let's discuss about the process. That what is the process? How does it work? Okay. And how do we get benefits by it? So basically, the immigrants who go to Canada using the express entry system or the PNP system, they called as the economic immigrants. Okay. Because Canada accepts the immigrants with the skills to keep the economy growing. People who apply as economic immigrants are ranked on a point system that we have already discussed. The ranked on a point system is the eligibility criteria and the CRS system. Okay. And the point system attracts the immigrants who will be able to contribute to their new communities. Okay. So, as we have discussed the points, these are the factors on which the points are calculated: your age, your level of education, your English and French language skill, your work experience, your family living in Canada, and so on. Family immigrants are the spouse who is already living in Canada, having a PR card or having a Canadian citizenship, parents and grandparents, and then they can just sponsor their families to go there and live along with them. And then refugees are the persons who get the PR based on the humanitarian grounds. So basic eligibility, you should have a good education background, which means a graduate degree, minimum 1 year of work experience, proficient English language skills, and age should be less than 45 years. Okay. Why? Now the question comes to why we should immigrate to Canada. Why not some other country? Okay. So there are enormous benefits. You will get the greater standard of living. You will get more stable political environment. You will get huge demand for better salary, opportunity to bring more members of the family abroad. You will get less rigorous education process compared to other English-speaking nations. You will get free healthcare education for all of your family members, and you will get the chance to work with a diverse culture. Okay. Are you eligible? That we have already discussed. Now let's discuss about some job trends in Canada. Whether the job is in demand or not, how you will be able to use that. Okay. How you will be able to work on that part. Okay. So let me share my screen with you. I would like to excuse you, please. They'll just need 2 seconds to connect with you on this thing. Meanwhile, while we are talking about the job trends in Canada, we should first know about the tier 2. There is a thing which is called the occupation code in Canada. Using that occupation code, we would be able to know that whether the job duties in which we are currently working, whether they are matching our job duties or not. Okay. And using that job duties, we can check the demand over in of our profession over there in Canada. Okay. So how do we check? This is the Canadian job act. This is the trend analysis. Here you can explore the market, occupations, wages, and other things. Once you will click on occupation, once you will put up. For an example, let's take an example of software engineer. Okay. We need to check for whole of the Canada. Click on search. The description. We will be able to know the prospects as well, the job prospects, which province will be having the most of the jobs. Okay. So let's see that Alberta, very good. British Columbia, good. Manitoba, good. New Brunswick, good. This is which is good in all of the provinces. Okay, Nova Scotia it's also very good. Ontario, very good. Even we can see in Ontario, Prince Edward Island, they have the 5-star, which is very good. So these are the software engineer where they can go and they can there they can settle down. Okay, and you can also see the wages using the same options. What would be the highest wage? What would be the lowest wage? What would be the medium wage that you will be getting for your work? So we can see that the highest is 72 per hour, median is 49, lowest is 20. Okay. Now again, let's come to our topic. Now the question is that this is fine. Now we understood about the eligibility criteria. We understood about the other things as well. Now we want to understand how the process runs, how the process initiates, whether it's express entry or whether it's PNP. First thing that you need to get, you need to know that whether your education that you have completed outside of Canada, whether it is equal to the Canadian standard or not. And for that, you need to get an education credential assessment done using the help of the Canadian bodies like WES, IQS, ICAS, CES. There are some other bodies as well, like the Medical Council of Canada. Using that body, we can have the education credentials verification for the MBBS professionals. There is PEBC, the Pharmacy Examination Board of Canada. And then you need to go through the IELTS examination. You need to choose your tier codes. And combining all of these three things, we need to get one express entry profile done for ourselves. Okay. So this is how the process initiates. Now, time factor. Time is a very important factor. We need to be very sure that we should complete step-by-step process and we should complete our express entry profiling or PNP profiling on a very active note. So we should always run our ECA process and our IELTS or language test process simultaneously, because ECA process minimum taking 45 working days. So within 45 working days, you should focus on your language test and you should get ready yourself for the language test and you should get through the language test. So that after 45 days, you should be having your language test report with you. You should be having your ECA report with you, and we are good to proceed with the express entry or the PNP file. Okay. Now there are some other post documentation requirements occurs when you receive the invitation letter to apply, when the Canadian government is inviting you finally, which includes your police clearance, medical, your passport, your birth certificate, because then the embassy needs to do the verification of the documents. There you need the proof of funds as well. Proof of funds means that there is a certain requirements which has been set by the Canadian government, that this kind of the amount you need to show in your savings. Now you can use that amount as the savings in your bank statements, your FDs, your RDs, your government bonds and government policies, but you can't show the equity on property, gold. You can't show anything which you are not able to liquidate. Okay. And what are the proof of funds that can be always like giving the proper information about that. So for a single applicant, it's 13,310 Canadian dollars. For two applicants, it's nearby more than 16,000. Okay. So that is the whole thing given on the Canadian website as well. Okay. And then one more document is there, which are the reference letter. So for a professional, it's very necessary that you will get the reference letter for the companies where you have worked or where you are working currently, and they need to get you everything on a proper note in a proper format regarding your working hours, your tenure, your designation, your salary, and most importantly, the job responsibilities. And that job responsibility needs to be in a correlation with the tier code, okay, that you have chosen for. All right. So let us connect with each other for the Q&A session, and then we will be discussing that why you should choose GIS, what are our offerings, how we will be able to help you. Okay. Let me come to the participants. I would like to request to the participants who are just joining the webinar, please raise your hand one by one, and I'll be coming to you. I'll be giving you a chance to speak with me, and then you will be definitely able to connect with me, and then we will be able to resolve your queries. Okay. So please, starting one by one, you all please raise your hands. So basically, we have two attendees who have raised their hands. It's Tanvi and Donna. Okay. Tanvi, are you able to hear me? Hello. I think you are not able to hear. No. Hi, Kadambari. How I'll be able to help you?
Hi, I was following along and I was looking at professions in like psychology and counseling because I have my master's from America. And then I have 1 year of work experience after my master's. So what I think I was looking at was like, the licensing parts for like Canada. Like, do I have to change my license to Canada before I apply for all these things?
Okay. So there are two things. First thing, just for applying to the PR, there is not a requirement that you should get the licensing authority from the Canada. Okay. Because
Okay.
if you want to work as an assistant psychologist, where you will be giving the assistance to a senior psychologist, okay, then you can work as an assistant, okay. But if you want to practice on a senior position being a psychologist, then definitely you need to get the licensing, okay. But
Okay.
I suggest the people first apply the PR in a lower tier code. Instead of the tier code 0 level, you should apply for one level tier code. And once you get the permanent residency, then you can initiate the process for the licensing, because it will save your time, it will save the points for your age as well, and it will save the other costs as well.
Okay. All right. That's helpful.
Yes, Mr. Tanveer. Hello. 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 Hi, good.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Guri. How may I help you?
Okay. My question is that currently I am still studying. Like I will have my bachelor's degree the next year. So should I start the application process of this year, or maybe I have to wait for the
Please
for the?
will you just please repeat the question? I'm not able to get you. I just lost your voice.
Okay. Can you get me now?
I'm able to get you now. Please repeat my question.
Okay. I am saying that currently I'm still studying. I'm still pursuing my bachelor's degree.
You are still
So this
bachelor's degree.
Yes. So do I need to first take the bachelor's degree, then apply for the PR process, or maybe I can just start without taking that bachelor's degree?
Yeah. You need to complete your bachelor's degree as well. And even after completing your bachelor's degree, you need to have at least 1 year of work experience as well, so that you will be able to get through the eligibility criteria, which we have discussed in today's webinar.
Okay.
Okay.
So no, without work experience, it means I'm not eligible.
Without work experience, I'm so sorry, but without work experience, we can't proceed further, because as you know that it's a skilled immigration process, and into the skilled immigration process, all of the things needs to be taken care of.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Tanveer, I'm so sorry, but when I'm giving you the permission to unmute yourself, I'm not able to connect with you. So I'll be connecting with you. Just allow me some time so that I'll be able to first listen to the queries of the other attendees. Okay, it was Abhishek. Hi, Abhishek. What would you like to know regarding the process? How may we help you? Jaswinder?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi, Jaswinder.
Yeah.
May we help you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I want to know that how I can apply for express entry. That
Okay.
another thing also, that am I eligible? Recently, I'm doing work as a teacher.
Okay. So, Jaswinder, may I know regarding some few pointers, like what's your age, what's your educational qualification, and what's the total work experience you're having?
Yeah, ma'am. Like now, recently, I am 32 years old, and I have done MA and BEd.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And work experience like from the last 7 years.
Okay. So basically, Jaswinder, you are eligible. Okay. And because I'm very sure if we even calculate your points on a very frequent basis, so for age, you are currently 34. Okay. So even
Yes.
then you will be completing all of the required initial things, you will become 35, then even you will be getting the 12 points for age. Then you have a master's degree as well, right? So for
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
you will get 23 points. For the language test, we will take that you, because you're in a teaching profile, so definitely you'll be able to get the 8777 score, so you will get 24 points, and for work experience, you will get whole 15 points. Okay. So even if we are calculating your points, then the total is coming out to be 74, which means you are eligible, you are good to proceed further. But I'll suggest you should initiate the process as soon as possible, because once you cross the 35, then definitely your points will be affected. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
if you are
ma'am.
married, Jaswinder, then you should take your spouse along with you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Definitely.
Okay. Yes,
And
thank you, ma'am.
because just in a very short span of time, Jaswinder, I'll not be able to give you a detailed counseling session, but I would request you fill our form and our representatives will get back to you. Then you can just book a slot with me for a detailed counseling.
Okay, I have already filled, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Our representative.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Hi, Jatin. How may we help you? Jatin? Hi, Abhishek. I request you to please speak with me so that I'll be able to resolve it.
Yeah, hi ma'am. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. I'm good. Thanks, Abhishek. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm fine. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you, so once the profile is created in the express entry, so how much time will it take to process my PR? I mean, it depends on I guess I am told that there is a lottery system which happens for the score.
So basically, I'll tell you how this happens. After
Okay.
submitting express entry profile, we
Yeah.
the cutoff match with the draws that are happening. Okay. If your cutoff
Okay.
is matching with any of the draw, whether it's express entry or whether it's PNP, then you will get the draw. But on an average, generally people get the invitation within 4 to 6 months after submitting their express entry profile. And why you need to wait for so long? Because the person who have submitted their profile earlier than yours and they are having the same score which you are having, so they will be given the priority. Okay. So it will become
Okay.
minimum 3 to 4 months so that your profile also gets a somehow old profile. Okay. And that is the reason express entry profile is valid for whole 1 year. Okay. And after getting an invitation letter to apply, it takes minimum 3 to 4 months to get all the things done on your plate, because the Canadian government give you 2 months to submit the post-ITA documentation, which means 60 days. And after submitting the documents, the embassy will also take 2 to 3 months to verify all of the things.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And ma'am, suppose if in that 1 year, if I don't get processed, and after that, I'm still pending. So for next year, what would be the procedure? Where to still create the profile, or?
You need to renew your profile, but in that profile, it will ask you that whether you were a part of the process earlier. There you need to there you need to tick the yes option, and there you need to put up your own express entry profile number so that you will be in the same queue where you were. You don't need to be on the very initial or the last position. Okay. And you will be in the same queue. You will be in the same waiting. So we can renew the profile. The best thing about express entry and PNP programs are always we can update the profiles as per our convenience, as per the things we are adding to our profile after 6 months, after 7 months. We can add a new education if we have done. If our work experience is changing, we can update that as well. So Abhishek, that is about the time.
Okay. And if I've got any gap in the experience, that would not be considered, no?
Yeah, the gaps in the experiences would not be considered, and it would be very good if we are able to justify the gaps, that why there is a gap.
Okay, actually, it was due to the pandemic thing, I guess, this COVID pandemic thing.
The considerable thing, the whole world was under the pandemic, so that's not an issue. The COVID gaps are not having an issue with any of the processes related to PR.
Okay. So yeah, I had gap in the COVID pandemic thing. That's all.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Okay. Okay, so I don't think the persons are having another questions. The persons who are having the query, the attendees, they have just resolved their queries. And Now, I would like to tell you that what basically GetGIS will be offering to you. So basically, we will not be offering only the processes related thing, but here you will get two persons to work on your profile. One will be the relationship manager, other one will be the process consultant. Okay, and you will be getting the weekly updates. You will be getting the proper report, proper transparency, because whatever will be done on your profile, it will be shared with you. Okay, and we will be helping you in each and every process related to the PR, whether it's related to your educational credentials, whether it's related to your work experience documents, whether it's related to your proof of funds documents, or whether it's related to any kind of the query related to the process. Okay, and the best thing about our global immigration services is that we are also having some financial partners with us. So if you are feeling a financial burden on yourselves, but you really want to initiate the process, then you can have a no cost EMI options as well. And then you can avail those options and you can start the process as on the EMI basis as well. Okay. Now, third thing that we believe that it's better to try and to get failed instead of never trying. Because as per my experience, immigration is all about probability. And probability is something, if we are thinking positive, if we are dedicated to our process, then our probability will always be on a higher note instead of on a lower. Because the draws are changing on a regular pattern. The work experience, the labor needs, demands are always changing. So it's better to take a chance. Maybe we will get the cutoff and we will be the lucky one who will be able to get the Canadian. There is 70% things which is in our hand, because we are the one who will be involving in the process, who will be taking the participation in the process, and then 30% of the things depends on the Canadian government, because definitely the last decision remains on the government to whom they want to invite, to whom they feel that yes, this occupation is in demand. And when the occupation is in demand, when they have the shortage of those occupations. And the biggest benefit of having 10 provinces, that each provinces have a different list of occupations in demand. So generally each and every occupation get covered into the provinces. Okay. So I would like to request you, please fill the form, whoever hasn't filled it. Okay. And then our representatives will gonna connect with you. Once they will connect with you, then you can just block the slot, and then the immigration experts will gonna connect with you regarding your counseling and the other things. Okay. Now, I would like to again request Shristi, Jatin, you would like to ask something. So please unmute yourself and please let us know before we just end the webinar.
Okay, can you hear?
Yeah, now Jatin, we can hear you. Please let us know.
Madam, I am not started to hearing your recording signs from starting. So can I get the recording of this webinar?
Sure, Jatin, you will be able to get the recording of the webinar. We request you to please fill the form so that we will be able to get your email ID, and then the thing will give you the recording of the webinar.
And then I want to share my detail about me. I have done B Civil.
You have done ECA?
Bachelor of Engineering in Civil.
All right.
And I have a 10 years experience in
Okay.
Gujarat with government sector.
All right.
So then can I eligible for all the things? I am curious about all the things to know.
Okay, so Jatin, basically, based on the details you have provided to me, your profile seems to be good and you seems to be eligible for the Canadian PR. Rest, whether what the scores you are getting, what the chances are there, which province will be best suitable for you, whether you will be able to get it through the express entry or through the PNP. We request you to please fill the form so that our immigration experts will gonna connect with you, and then they will be able to answer your questions in the detail. And if you want a detailed counseling session with me, so I'll also be there to help. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jatin. Hi, Amreen. How may we be able to help you?
Hello, ma'am. Amreen is here. How are you?
I'm good, Amreen. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Yes.
Actually, I need to know that is my profile is eligible for express entry or not, that I need to know.
Sure, Amreen. May I know your age?
25.
25, okay. May I know your highest educational qualification?
BSc BEd.
PhD BEd. So basically, you have dual qualifications, 2 or more degrees. Okay. May
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
your experience?
4 years of experience, ma'am.
4 year of experience. Okay. And as you also belong to a teaching industry, we assume that you will be able to score 8,777 in the IELTS examination. Okay. So
Okay, ma'am.
right now you are getting 71 points. Minimum criteria is 67. You are eligible for the express entry. Okay. Yeah. And definitely
That one.
CRS score will be nearby 3 times, or it will be nearby between 430 to 445. So that will definitely be a good score to proceed further. Are you single right now, Sri?
No, ma'am, I'm married.
Okay. And may I know your about spouse, educational details, and work experience? Is he working?
He's a furniture designer, and her qualification is 10th standard.
Okay, all right. So basically, you need to be the primary applicant, and then he can
ma'am.
accompany you being a secondary applicant. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
What
yeah.
you told, ma'am? How much my CRS score is?
Exit CRS score we need to calculate, but as per my experience, it will be between 430 to 445. Okay. So it will be a good score. Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, Amreen. We request you to please fill the form so that the team can connect with you.
I have filled.
Thanks, Amreen.
Okay.
Oh. Hi, Sabah. How may we help you? Sabah, are you able to hear me? I request you to please unmute yourself because you raised the hand. You may be having any query related to the immigration to Canada.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I was up. Hello?
Yeah.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Yeah, this is properly audible, Sabah.
What is this, ma'am, actually?
You joined the immigration webinar late, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. It's
So, Sabah, this was a webinar that was related to the Canadian immigration pathways. Okay. There are two programs which we generally use to immigrate to Canada, which is the Express Entry and the PNP programs. Okay. And both of the programs works on a point system. There is a basic eligibility criteria which a person needs to qualify. So there are 100 points, out of which you need to get the 67 points to make yourself eligible for both of the programs. Okay. And
okay, ma'am.
7 points are bifurcated on the different factors like your age, your education, your work experience, and your language skills. Okay. And these points are also bifurcated. Like for age, the maximum points are 12 when you get these points. When you are falling into age criteria of 18 to 35, once you got 36, you will get 11 points. As the age will be increasing, points will be decreasing. Similarly, with the other factors, there are certain requirements. Okay. So if you are those requirements, then we initiate further. So Sabah, I would like to request you that because it's 10 to 15 minutes, it's not possible for me to give you the proper detail. So please fill the form, fill your details, and then we will get connected with you to give you a proper detailed orientation or the counseling session regarding the Canada PR. Okay?
Oh, okay, ma'am. I have filled it.
All right. Thanks, Sabah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Srishti, I think we are good to go and we are good to finish the webinar. So I would like to thank all of the attendees who have attended the webinar, devoted their precious time to us. And we would be very happy if you will be a family in your immigration journey with the Global Immigration Services. And we will be really happy to help you with your immigration dream so that you will be able to have the dream which you are have in your mind day and night of getting settled into your dream country. We will be very happy to assist you with that, and we will be very happy that if any one of you will get your dream achieved with the help of Global Immigration Services. So thanks a lot, and I request you again on the behalf of all my team to please fill the forms. Thanks, Christy. Hand over to you.
Thank you, Afreen, for the valuable session. And the personal counseling link has been shared in the chat box. I request each and all to fill that so that our team and representative can connect with you for a proper guidance and a customized guidance. So we'll be, just ending this webinar. And I really thank all of you for attending this webinar session. Thank you.